Hey guys, welcome back. It's a super windy day here in Oregon. We've got another cool vehicle, so I'm just going to go ahead and start showing it to you. In front of me is a 1995 Toyota Dyna Fire Truck double cab 4x4 rig. This only has approximately 9,900 kilometers, which is around 5,500 miles original. This was decommissioned just this year in 2023. So Japanese firefighters love to wash their trucks, take care of their trucks. They're known for that, and this thing definitely shows it. It took quite a bit of time to get this out of Japan because of its size, but it's finally arrived and I'm stoked to show it to you. So as you can see, this is a Dyna, I believe it's a 250 is the submodel. Someone may correct me if I'm wrong on that, but it's tough to tell because it was built as a fire vehicle from the factory by Toyota. Morita put its firebox on the back and joined it all together. This was kind of a combo deal between Morita and Toyota, and that's how a lot of these fire rigs were put together back in the day, and I believe many of them still are now. So fully functional firebox on the back. Double cab 4x4 Dyna truck. This is a heavy duty truck. This is it may look similar to like a Hi-Ace or a Toyo Ace, or even the lighter duty Dyna 100 150, but this is the heavy duty one. So dualies in the rear, the 4.1 liter diesel engine, timing gear driven, very, very stout. Let's look inside, but I want to show you this original gold leaf that was hand painted on. This truck came from a village. Someone can translate this. We did it before. I forget the village name, but it no longer exists as a village because it joined a larger city. Interesting story, and that happened in 2005. So it was the fire truck for the village and then the same region where it stayed its whole life, kind of just in the center of Japan in a small mountain town. I believe it was a town of about 5,000 people. So it didn't have a very tough life as a rig, but it was definitely maintained and upkept as so many of these Japanese service vehicles are. So front driver door card, armrest, power windows in the front with your window lock button. We've got two captain's chairs up front with this heavy duty cloth material, a big center console, and a few of your controls here. Your PTO on and off, so this truck is set up with PTO. Obviously, the whole fire pump, the water pump runs off of that, but that can be repurposed for anything else. An aftermarket oil temperature gauge was fitted from the factory, from the fire box manufacturer. And also your battery kill switch right here. So let me jump in. All right, so looking at the cluster, 9,822 kilometers original. Big bus-like steering wheel, and you just kind of sit upright. You can see everything from this cab. There's tons of headroom. They have a high top on these because it was designed for the firefighters to sit here and with their helmets on. And then you have these handy zippers, which gives you access to the other inner headliner and some holes for mounting hardware to the roof. Climate controls, standard slider, no AC on this model. You've got your cool and hot for your heater, clock, hazards, engine heating button. It helps you warm up the engine quicker in cold weather. AM radio, little cubby for coins, and then dual cup holders here, and your four-wheel drive switch. This is where all the fire stuff lived. It's a big double din unit. You can put in a radio or whatever you'd like there. That was where the siren controls were, and those were all taken off by the firehouse. Transfer case lever down here, high range, neutral, and low 4. 5-speed shift, floor shift, parking brake release, And that kind of about does it for the interior glove box. And this thing came with every single book, which is unusual for the service trucks. Usually they're removed. This has the owner's manual, the firebox manual by Morita, parts manuals, and more. It's pretty cool to see it all. So the back seats are very spacious. Why don't we hop out, take a little bit look back there. Forgot to point out, vinyl floor is in excellent shape. All right. So here is your rear. The rear doors are roll down, crank down windows, manual locks. This is your transmission engine hump and your seat, which pulls up. You've got a rear heater down here. A bag of chips over there, that's for me later, and your bottle jack, and some other hardware for changing your tire. This is an aftermarket kind of taped down all-weather mat to protect the vinyl underneath it. You've got some hooks that were added on back there, as well as more access zippers, and just look at the space in this double cab. This is huge. If I step in, I can practically like stand back here. Well, not really, but it's so big. It's like almost like being in a limo. I can like stretch my legs out and just kind of chill. Yeah, a lot of space, big grab bar, and a dome light up here, which I have the battery switched off, so that normally goes on. And then your other door here, little cigarette hole in this, but there's no smell of smoke in here, and is generally in very, very, very good nick. All right, so why don't we hop out and look around at the rest of the box, and I can go over some of that. Here are all your controls for your pump. This is a functioning fire truck, so you can hook up things and put out fires if you wanted to. All the controls work and they're labeled appropriately. Granted, it's in Japanese, but nothing a little Google Translate can't solve. You've got pressure gauges, a vacuum gauge, and all that sort of stuff. This stuff zips up. It's super, I can show you inside here, under this canopy. Extremely windy. Sorry for the wind noise. Spotlights. You've got these cool spotlights here, which can come completely off, but they're wired in and you can kind of angle them how you want and then tighten it up. And as well as they're fully adjustable, which is pretty cool. This canvas also comes off. So looking in the back, this is a Morita firebox, the main company that makes these for the Japanese fire trucks. You've got two drop-down seats right here, and then a little grab rail so you can pull the pin out and slide this out, and then lock it up like that. This side does the same. And there's a little light up there, so it's kind of like a little hatch area, pseudo canopy. Pretty neat. Yeah, so let's put this back. You've got the truck. Toyota taillights are integrated into the firebox, which is cool. And the other side as well, additional pump controls, same controls on both sides generally. and additional spotlight switch for your other spotlight right up here. Down here is a little access box for your hydraulic service. Your hydraulic oil goes in here because the box tilts up, the cab tilts up, and then you also have serviceable pump stuff here. This is your switch for your cab tilt, so you get full access to your engine. We'll demonstrate that later in the video. This is the lock lever to release and lock your cab tilt lock function. 2 big heavy-duty batteries here that were replaced about 2 years ago. And yeah, other side of your rear cab. Original gold leaf. Pretty neat to see this, and the pinstriping is all original, all hand painted. And then your front passenger side, generally the same deal as the driver's side. And then, yeah, as I pointed out, all the manuals for just about everything on this truck, which is pretty cool. Parts lists, truck manual, yeah, it's all there. So 4-wheel drive, you've got manual locking hubs, so it's a part-time 4-wheel drive. So you twist this to lock, and then you engage it through the switch in the dash, push this button, and then you're in 4 high, and then you use this to go into 4 low. Pretty simple, just like any other Toyota truck or most 4x4s of the 90s from Japan. Truck's in very good shape. There's no rust, no real body damage. It's really clean. There's a little dent here, and that's just a bug. That's also a bug. So yeah, it's in really good shape. Again, only like 5,500 miles. So it does not display a lot of signs of use, which is cool, but it has been maintained. The tires are in good shape. Mechanically, it's very sound. It runs like a top. Rear is big rear, dually, full floating axle. These are 16-inch wheels, so 16-inch rear and front. And it is a 5-lug setup. Your fuel tank is here. It's keyed. Engine key can also lock or unlock this cap. And underneath, rust-free, little shot of the frame there. It's all been undercoated from the factory by Toyota, but there is no rust on this thing. It looks pretty spotless underneath. All right, why don't we demonstrate the cab tilt and engine access. So first thing you're gonna do is you're gonna put your battery on. Make sure you're in neutral. Fire up your engine. And then we'll go around to the passenger side. We're gonna unlock this. Requires 2 hands. So that's been unlocked. And you tilt. And that's it. So that big yellow thing there is for a safety lock. You would put that up here and it would kind of lock everything out so the cab doesn't come back down on you. But as you can see, super clean engine. This is the Toyota 15B, which is a 4.1 liter diesel. Got everything there, your PTO. And yeah, You can see the frame is like new. The engine is like new. So that's how that works. It's pretty cool. And then to bring it back down, comes right back down. All right, and you just lock it out like that. And that's how that's done. So working on these things, super easy because you basically get full access to the engine from all angles, top, bottom, sides, all that. Much better than having your arms hunched over a hood, in my opinion. And you can always make sure your cab is down and safe and locked when this tilt lock light is off. This will be on if you haven't locked it up properly, just so you know, for safety reasons. So, you guys want to go for a ride? I think we can arrange that. All right, well, why don't we take this thing for a test drive? Fires right up. Simple cluster here with speedo and kilometers and your tach on the right, as well as a engine coolant temperature and fuel gauge. You also have an auxiliary oil temperature gauge down there. Let's release the parking brake, and off we go. So this is a solid front axle and solid rear axle truck, meaning it's leaf sprung front and rear. Super robust, very simple wagon wheel technology. Not a whole lot to go wrong. Easy to service and generally designed to have a long vehicle life. These were built as service vehicles and designed to get as many years of life out of them as possible. This has the 4.1 liter 15B engine. It's very torquey. It is a timing gear driven engine, so there's no timing chain or even a timing belt that needs to be serviced. It is mechanically injected. There are no ECUs or computers on this truck. It is not a high pressure with a fuel rail or anything like that, like any sort of modern diesel. So tried and true and reliable. Gearbox shifts nicely, tight and strong. The truck goes straight down the road. It's drum brakes front and rear, so stopping power is really good and generally fuss-free. Cruising speed is, I would say, anywhere 55 to 65, just depending on your personal driving habits. Fuel economy, I would estimate, is somewhere between 18 and 22. Again, depending on your driving habits. These trucks were designed for work. You could take the firebox off, put a flatbed, put any sort of utility bed on the back and have it do as you wish. You can add tow equipment. This thing can tow a whole lot. I don't think it has a formal tow rating from Japan, but they were used in other countries where they were used for all sorts of towing, and these trucks also were used in Japan as flat deck loading trucks, so just loading cars and hauling cars. So built and designed for heavy duty work. With only 5,500 miles on this one, it has essentially its whole life ahead of it. Engine is brand new, and it looks new. It's got really nice low-end torque. Most of the meat and torque is between 1,000 and 2,500 RPMs on the power band. It feels like a new vehicle when you drive it. It drives like a big, heavy-duty commercial truck. You have a huge commanding presence through your big cab over seating position. You can see all sorts of stuff through this large glass, and that's why a lot of folks like these trucks. Steering feels light and nimble. It doesn't take two arms or a lot of strength to turn the wheel. It turns quite easily. It stops very easily. Generally, it's a pleasurable truck to drive. It just needs a use, a purpose, and a new home. Its job in life as a firefighting rig, at least in Japan, is over. Now it's on to new adventures with a whole life ahead of it. Mechanically, it checks out. It's been well maintained by the Japanese fire department, as all of these tend to be. Stored indoors generally, and regularly serviced and maintained because it's used for saving lives. Japan is extremely safety orientated, so it is no surprise that this vehicle runs like a top. Was in fact used as a fire truck up until earlier this year in 2023. It does have an exhaust brake. You pull this left stalk in towards you, and you see the exhaust icon on the right, which is the green icon. And when you let off the throttle, you can hear that. It slows you down. Factory exhaust brake, pretty cool to see. And it's nice to have. It saves your brake shoe life, extends that out, and generally makes it a little bit more efficient to run the vehicle without having to service your brakes as often. All right, guys, thanks for watching the video again. This is a 1995 Toyota Dyna double cab 4x4 fire rig from Japan. It's now for sale in Portland, Oregon with us at OttoEx. That's OttoEx.com. Check us out on Instagram, YouTube, or just head to our website. Reach out, give us a call. Any questions, we're here to answer them for you. Thanks again for watching, and hope you enjoyed this video. We're always bringing more. So if you liked it, subscribe, leave a comment. Thanks.